Tell me one of your most embarrassing nurse stories. I'll go first.
Oh.
This one day quite a few years ago, we had a really sick patient come into the ER. There's like 3 of us in the room trying to get the patient stabilized and settled. And in the midst of all of that, the patient has the audacity to code. One nurse runs to get the doctor, the other nurse runs to open the crash cart, and I jump up to start compressions. And in the middle of my first round of compressions, I feel the elastic waistband in my scrub pants snap. My pants then proceed to fall down around my ankles, just in time for the doctor and the rest of the code team show up. God bless the nurse who ran over and pulled my pants up and proceeded to hold them there while I finished that round of compressions and got somebody to switch with me. And that, my friends, is what nursing relationships are all about. Find someone to hold your pants.
I couldn't get past the green sticker on her fucking thing. I'm like, all I'm doing is staring at the green sticker, not hearing a damn word she's saying. And then I hear butt ass naked while I'm doing compressions. I'm like, wait a minute. Green sticker, stop it. Stop sticking your tongue out at me. Like,
for all the first responders out there on TikTok, I want to hear some of your embarrassing stories. I'll go first. One day at work, my twin nieces, who I think were 4 at the time, were texting me from their mom's phone. I responded with a memoji message on my iPhone, and I used this little pig emoji. And I was making all kinds of faces, you know, to make them laugh, like, and saying something stupid, like, I'm a little piggy, or something ridiculous like that. And somehow I ended up sending the message, not to them, but to the chief of police. And in cop world, you do something embarrassing like that, you never
piggy!
I'm a little piggy cheese.
I have a super embarrassing story to tell you. When I was a fellow, I was doing an intrauterine insemination where we put sperm into the uterus, and I encountered some resistance, so I'm pushing the plunger a little harder, and it actually sprayed the semen sample
we need
right
to stop
into
and
my
roll
eye,
that one back.
and it like dripped down, and I could taste it in my mouth. Of course, I had to show up to the ER for a work-related exposure and say I got sperm sprayed in my eye at work. You can imagine the rolling on the floor of laughter. I'm glad I gave everyone a good chuckle that day.
So I was like, whoa, wait a minute, roll that back, because I didn't get past when I was a fellow. To do that.
Okay, so I've told a lot of embarrassing stories on this app, but when I tell you this one takes the cake, I literally kicked everyone out of the house so I could tell this story. That's how embarrassed I am. But if you don't laugh, you cry, so let's get into it. So I used to work at Starbucks, and while I worked there, I was in the drive-thru working one day, and this couple comes to the drive-thru. Okay, the man is in the driver's seat and the woman is in the passenger seat. I'm chatting them up, we're having a nice time, but I notice that the woman in the passenger seat is wearing like a sports helmet, like a hockey helmet, and my dumbass looks at her and says, oh, is he that bad of a driver? The man looks at me and says, she has a brain injury. She had a brain injury!
You guys want to hear an embarrassing story? I'm in outside sales for my job, and last week my boss was riding with me, and we were going to go to one of my number one clients. I picked out like this really nice like cream colored dress that I was wearing, so it looked like super professional. Me and my boss were at lunch before the meeting just to like strategize for it. On my way out, I went to go run to the restroom, and in the restroom I noticed in the full length mirror that you could totally see my underwear through my dress. So I did what every other normal girl would do, and I just took my underwear off, threw my purse, and was like, whatever. So we're like sitting down at the meeting, I'm like pulling out paperwork out of my purse, and like I literally totally forgot my underwear was even in there. So the meeting went great, and we're like just about to leave when I hear my customer say, hey, wait! It's literally my number one customer holding my underwear in his hand saying, are you serious? The boss looked at me like, and I was like, what? I've literally never seen those.
Yeah. Deny.
Something embarrassing happened to me.
So I am a freelance makeup artist and a business owner, and I receive phone calls on my cell phone and texts on my cell phone as well. And I received a text from a client who I had never met before, who was referred to me, saying, "Can you do my makeup tomorrow?" I responded while I was driving and spoke into my phone, and I said, "I cannot do your makeup tomorrow morning. I don't know what my reason was. I don't remember what I was supposed to write." Because 3 hours later, when I looked at my phone and I saw what autocorrect text, it said, "I cannot do your makeup tomorrow because I have to get..."
And that's why I do not do talk to text. That is why I do not do talk to text. Nope.
Yo, my life is over. I don't. So I go to work today, and the first email I get is not from my boss, not from my boss's boss, but from my boss's boss's boss saying, "Hey, let me know when you're free today so we can have a little conversation." It's never good when someone uses the word conversation. Never. So I'm, of course, just like riddled with anxiety. I'm just racking my brain trying to think of all the things that I could have done that would get me fired. Because, of course, obviously I'm getting fired. Yo, when I tell you it was way worse than I could have ever expected, they found my TikTok. They found my fucking TikTok. And I'm sure you're like, well, why would they care? My job ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'm super busy, sometimes not so much. I may or may not have used some of that downtime to make a few videos at work. And apparently somebody saw them and recognized the scenery and alerted them that I was making videos on company time. Like, have you ever done something where it's like, in the moment, it didn't really cross your brain that it might be bad, but then as soon as somebody points it out, you're like,
I see that.
Yep.
I see, yeah.
Yes, I could see why that would be a problem. It was just so fucking humiliating. I had to sit there while they went through the many ways in which this violates company policy. And it was just like, that makes sense. And it totally sucks getting reprimanded at work. Like, it's never fun, but that is not even the worst part. No. The part that was like a full-on fucking sucker punch to the gut is knowing that all of the corporate bigwigs saw my fucking TikToks.
Yes.
Every single
They
one
saw
of
the
them.
videos where I talk about being a hot, drunken mess, black out of the bar on Halloween. Like,
Yep, they sure did.
so needless to say, I have to quit. So if anybody knows of job opportunities that hire functioning alcoholics with a desperate need for attention, hit me up.
What is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you? I'll go first.
Okay, I've got a good one. Most embarrassing thing to happen to me. I was an assistant manager of GameStop, and I was really efficient and good at what I did. So I was really fast, all this stuff. So I noticed we're pretty busy one day, and people keep coming into my line. Lots of men. Well, it's mostly men who shop there, so I don't think anything of it. I'm just checking everyone out, blah, 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 being friendly, being my normal self. And people keep looking down at me, like, you know, in this area. And again, I don't think anything of it because a lot of them are just dudes. And I'm like, okay, so I keep going. Well, one guy was like, "You are the best," and like going on, and I'm like, okay, thank you, you know, have a great day. But they're doing it creepy. The way I'm saying it just sounds nice, but they were kind of creepy.
Something went wrong.
Well, then finally this woman gets in my line, and I'm like, "Hi," and she goes, "Hey, your shirt is unbuttoned and everyone can see everything," and that's why all the men keep coming over. And I was beyond mortified. And so
That's why everybody's in her line.
I fixed it, and I had an undershirt on, but it had gotten down too because GameStop, I worked really hard. I would have to climb up and do all kinds of stuff like way up high. So I guess it had kind of gotten down without me knowing, even though I tried to take the precautions. But anyway, that was my most embarrassing moment.
Well, she had a little boob action going on. Or shall we say wardrobe malfunction at the GameStop.